Welcome to the France 24 Observers. This week, we'd like to pay tribute to the courage of our observers. Very often, they tell us about incidents that the authorities in their countries would much rather keep hidden, but these men and women take the risk of talking to us anyway. And thanks to these observers, we're able to tell you about events that may otherwise never have been covered. Sudan is in the throes of a protest movement led by university students. They're angry about the high cost of living and about austerity measures being imposed by the government. Our observer in Khartoum is a blogger who would like to see Sudan be the next country to undergo a revolution.
It started off last Friday with the female students protesting in front of the dorms. It carried on for perhaps a week, and the protests renewed across neighborhoods and around mosques on Friday. The government has been responding to these protests with a very heavy crackdown, firing tear gas, assaulting and beating up the protesters, some of them hospitalized. It's been 23 years of dictatorship and oppression accumulating. So with the recent austerity measures, the people are angry. They're unable to afford basic commodities like sugar, bread, and it's obviously hindering their lives. So this is the spark of the Sudanese revolution. Social media plays a big role, especially in Sudan, I think, because there's a media blackout, and mainstream Sudanese media doesn't even report these protests to the average Sudanese household. All we can use is social media to broadcast the Sudanese revolution.
Next up, a look at some of the best images sent in this week by our observers. We head first to Ulanqab in China with our observer Sui. He alerted us to these images posted on a Chinese social network. They show the inside of an ice cream factory. The young woman who took these photos was doing an internship there. She was so shocked by the harsh working conditions and the lack of hygiene that she secretly snapped these pictures and posted them online. Her story caused such outrage that the dairy company running the factory promised to conduct a thorough review of its hygiene practices. Now on to an immigrant detention camp in Libya, with Geneviève Jacques, an activist from the International Federation of Human Rights. After Muammar Gaddafi's downfall, migrant workers living in Libya, most of whom hailed from sub-Saharan Africa, were confused with mercenaries for the former regime who were also black. Because of this, many migrant workers were targeted by former rebels. 9 months after the fall of Tripoli, these immigrants' troubles are far from over. Many of them can no longer renew their work permits and have been placed in detention camps where they live in difficult conditions. Geneviève visited several of these camps. She told us the immigrants are held in old warehouses, sometimes with nothing to sleep on, and that they're often beaten by their guards. And it seems their situation won't improve anytime soon. Because most of these men worked in construction, in companies that shut down after the revolution, it appears they are no longer needed in Libya. Now on to the Sari Zoo in Iran with our observer Reza Javalshi. Reza told us that for the past few months, the Sari Zoo had made an attraction out of feeding live animals to its lions. In this video, filmed by a visitor to the zoo, the lion's dinner is a live donkey. Reza found this practice disgusting and tried to convince the zoo to stop. At first, the zoo's director argued that lions killed animals every day in the wild. But Reza explained that in the wild, this took only minutes, while these captive lions had never hunted, and so they took over an hour to kill their prey. The zoo's director in the end agreed to halt the live feedings for the time being. We end in the United States. The state of Colorado is experiencing its worst wildfires in decades. More than 35,000 hectares of land have gone up in smoke, and tens of thousands of people have had to evacuate their homes. Despite firefighters' around-the-clock efforts, several dozen houses have been lost to the flames. That's all for this week, but as always, you can find more reports from our observers on our website, on our Facebook and Twitter pages, and on our iPhone app. See you next time.